That city councilor filing a complaint with Worcester's Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and they're taking a month-long break. They say it's for emotional and mental safety.
Wait, are you telling me that the first non-binary ever to be elected to the Worcester City Council has decided to file a complaint with the DEI board in Worcester, claiming that they were misgendered repeatedly and therefore their mental health has been so strained that they no longer have to show up to work anymore, that now all of a sudden this person expects to be paid their full salary, have a civil rights investigation against people who used the wrong words, allegedly at one point in time, through Nugent was called it. Oh my god, are you guys shocked? Are you guys horrified? Therefore, through Nugent is entitled to mental health leave and not to represent the constituents that actually elected this person into office. Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Sean, and that's what we're going to talk about today. However, I do want to remind you that friend of the channel, Devin Tracy, his parents lost their family home in the California wildfires, and he has set up a GoFundMe in order to raise money in order to support them. And if you want to support him, the link to that will be in the top of the description of this video. If you are unable to or you don't want to, don't worry about it, no pressure. But without further ado, let us get into this particular story. So first and foremost, it is a giant red flag that the city of Worcester has apparently an office of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Obviously, that is a red flag. Obviously, that is something that needs to be abolished immediately. But apparently, this DEI office is capable of punishing representatives for using the wrong words when having discussions, again, in the city council chamber. I find that to be ridiculous and absurd. Obviously, you should have free speech throughout the United States of America, but obviously in public forums in the city council chamber, you definitely should as well. So apparently the DEI office is going to be investigating, and at this moment in time, Thu Nguyen, who is the daughter of a Vietnamese refugee, has decided that they don't want to work anymore.
Worcester City Councilor at Large Thu Nguyen taking a month-long mental health break, accusing the mayor and council of a toxic culture. Nguyen uses the pronouns they, them, and says it's not safe to show up to meetings in person.
I really wished I felt safe enough to show up on the council floor, but I don't.
No, absolutely not. Already, I'm against this 100%. You don't get to take a mental health break, a mental health leave, if you are representative of other people. You are supposed to be strong enough to endure attacks that you might face as a city council person, especially if you run as a representative of the LGBTQ XXII pay community, claiming that you are somehow fighting against the oppressive systems and the systemic structures. You cannot do that on one hand, get people's votes, get sent to the city council chamber, and then say, you know what, some words were thrown around that made me rather uncomfortable. All of these progressive Democrats that bend over backwards to cater and worship me didn't worship me properly enough, therefore I need to take a month off. That's ridiculous and that's absurd. Again, the city council is just supposed to function short a member. The city council district that actually chose this person to be their representative is just supposed to have no representative at all whatsoever. What a ridiculous and crazy notion. And considering that these local government officials have 1,000,000 days off already in the calendar, I find this to be extraordinarily and additionally absurd. But when you hear the evil phrase, the evil name that this person was supposedly called, by the way, by mistake, in error, you will realize how absurd this actually is.
Last night, when talking about remote participation, Nguyen accused the mayor and another councilor, Kathleen Toomey, of using the wrong pronouns. Nguyen also says Councilor Candy Merrill Carlson repeatedly called them it.
I have faced transphobia with being misgendered.
So there's a couple of things about this story that really annoy me and really aggravate me almost immediately. And the first one is the most obvious. All of you can see it for sure, and that is the fact that this is not actually Thu Nguyen, the Vietnamese or child of Vietnamese refugees to the United States of America that was elected to the Worcester Worcester City Council, this is actually Ian Miles Chung with glasses, and there is no way you are going to slip that by me. Obviously, this is the same person on the internet.com that steals everybody's videos, re-uploads them, and somehow rakes in truckloads and truckloads of money from Malaysia, profiting off of American politics. Again, put the glasses on Ian Miles Chung and tell me that these are not the same person. Now, second, the other thing that really aggravates me about this is the fact that Thu Nguyen, again, is claiming that it is unsafe for this person, for a member of the city council, to be in the city council chamber because somebody at some point in time forgot to refer to this person as a they, them. Apparently, it is a danger to Thu Nguyen's life to be referred to as not a they, them, as a he, as a she, as an it, as is the issue right here, and I find that to be ridiculous and absurd, especially when you factor in that this person's father fought in the Vietnamese War, again for the Southern Vietnamese, ended up having to flee that country and flee Ho Chi Minh, sought refuge in the United States of America, and that person was able to lead a successful life, raise a child, although obviously kind of a little bit of a bungling in that department, and that child was able to make it to the city council, but that person is totally fine, but Thu Nguyen, there's the danger right there, because oh my god, somebody in the city council forgot the pronouns. Somebody in the city council did not say they when they were supposed to, and therefore Thu Nguyen gets a free month off on the taxpayer dime. Ridiculous and absurd. You are not in danger. You're just an overprivileged, oversensitive little brat, and you need to get your ass back to work, or better yet, do us all a favor and resign.
And recently learned that I have been dehumanized to a point where I'm being referred to as it by my colleagues on this council.
Now again, to be clear, you are not in any way, shape, or form being dehumanized when you are not referred to by your made-up pronouns. Again, they as a singular is something that is very unusual in normal English-speaking conversation, so you can't be surprised when some people don't catch on to your weird pronoun rules right away. And in fact, it is quite a bit more disturbing that you think it is appropriate to file with the Department of DEI a complaint due to the fact that people speak the English language properly in a way that you don't like and a way that you find inconvenient.
Nguyen accused the mayor and another councillor, Kathleen Toomey, of using the wrong pronouns. Nguyen also says Councillor Candy Merrow Carlson repeatedly called them it.
Now again, I will also remind you of all the different various people that this person is accusing of daring to misgender them, and how Thu Nguyen is claiming physical unsafety, physical threats against their life due to the fact that they're not using the appropriate proper they them pronouns in order to describe them, even though all the different various people that are accused, that are facing these allegations, happen to be old ladies and the old man that is the mayor. Which one of them is about to beat you up? Which one of them is a physical threat to your safety? Let us be honest, you're being ridiculous. You just wanted a free month off due to the fact that you're not being treated like the extra special snowflake that the headlines about you making history have kind of washed away over time, and now people have to examine how you actually govern, and you don't want to face the actual scrutiny that a member of the city council will face, which, by the way, as a Democratic mayor of a city council in an area that is pretty Democrat, is not all that much scrutiny. Now look, because I am the most reasonable man in the United States of America, I'm not just gonna look at the mayor of Worcester and say, you know what, this is a Democrat, therefore this is a progressive, because I could tell by Joseph Petty's last name that there is a chance he could be a little bit petty with this person who comes in and tries to ultra-wokeify the city. But again, when you figure out the fact that they have a Department of DEI, quite literally, as a function of government that city council members can complain to, you know this is a very left-wing place, even though Joseph Petty has often been described as a very petty individual. And yes, we're going off the rails on this particular segment, but just listen to the way that the other members of the city council kind of like fall on the sword and apologize to this person who's just lazy and wants to take a week off.
Councillor Toomey says early on when the councillor was elected, I did make an honest error in addressing the councillor and may have done so a few times, for which I apologized. There has never been any intentional or consistent misgendering. I have been mindful to address the councillor respectfully in the manner in which they identify over the past 3 years.
So yeah, you have these representatives saying, hey look, I might have said something of the sort, and honestly, I apologize. I bow down to the LGBTQ pay community. Obviously, we're Democrats here. We do everything and anything for these people, and of course, we set up a Department of DEI where you can quite literally complain about the language of the representatives rather than, the actual policies that they put forward. So all of these people are conceding way too much ground to this lazy representative who just doesn't want to show up for work, who again is taking a month off because the stress of the job that this person was elected to do is way too much, which means, guess what? Nugent should resign. Nugent should step down. Don't take a month off for mental health. Think about your mental health even more and get the hell out of the city council. Now, of course, they're going to cut to another representative who's going to try to outwoke all the others, and it's going to be even more absurd.
I have spoken with city staff who've confirmed that Councilor Nguyen was referred to as an it by a counselor.
Councilor Christian King troubled by what he's heard.
I condemn and disavow any sort of political hostility based on someone's being.
So here you have another city council member, obviously a more woke member based on the way that he's speaking, saying, look, I was talking around in the city council and I heard that this person was referred to as an it. And I just want to say, it has feelings. Show it some respect. How dare you call this person it? It is absolutely shameful. Call them by their name, which again is Ian Miles Chung.
Now, Councillor Merrill Carlson telling us, while I do not recall making the statements in question, I acknowledge that it was a challenging and emotional week where difficult conversations took place. These claims, however, misrepresent my character, my record, and the values I have consistently upheld. We did reach out to the mayor, and we also reached out to Councillor Nguyen, but did not hear back from either. The city manager's office confirms an investigation is underway.
So yeah, we get another statement from another person that is being accused of this non-crime by Ian Miles Chung, and they say, listen, I don't recall actually saying that. That seems to be a little bit ridiculous and absurd in my opinion, but it also doesn't reflect the values that I represent as a member of the city council, because everybody involved here is pretty left-wing. I mean, even if you got a Republican on this city council, that Republican would be pretty left-wing in comparison to Republicans in other parts of the country. So the idea that it is so oppressive that Ian Miles Chung cannot show up to work and is in physical danger in the city of Worcester is ridiculous and absurd. Yet again, Ian Miles Chung is spreading misinformation and disinformation for their own personal profit, and honestly, Ian, you should be ashamed of yourself. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about City Council member Ian Miles Chung complaining about being discriminated against. Till next time.